Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Go ahead and hit us with it, Shaka.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? I didn't have it.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Guys, we want to welcome you
There we go.
to the Morning Mystics conversation that we're having. And we got a good topic this morning. I think it's going to be a little meaty, little controversial. And this was Shaka's idea. He brought this one up. We're going to be looking at kind of a versus religiosity or philosophical philosophy versus spiritual practice. Yeah, sitting around philosophizing.
Yes.
Versus actually getting in and creating an actual practice where you have some actual results based on being a spiritual scientist.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Shaka, how are you doing this morning, my friend?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. I feel good. I did not have any dreams last night, but that's okay. That's okay. But I feel good. How about you? How do you feel?
I'm good today. I'm in a really great space. I did dream. I did not write them down immediately.
Oh, you lost them?
I lost fragments of them. I actually I was in conversation. I didn't have a really restful sleep. A lot on my mind. So I was up at like, I don't know, 3 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah.
And I just made myself lay there and just kind of try to stay relaxed. So I was in and out of dream and thinking, dream state and thinking. So it was more like work. My sleep was like work last night. But that is the practice, right? Sometimes things are, you're dreaming and then an actual lucid thought will come through, maybe an answer to a question that I am grappling with right now.
Okay. Did you go over the dream real quick and get it on tape, or is this something you write down later?
No, I'm going to do it once we're done, because I woke up kind of running today, unfortunately. But I'm definitely going to sit down and write it down, and we'll be able to kind of talk about it tomorrow, I guess.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah. So take us into this, start us off with this conversation about philosophizing, sitting around sounding smart versus actually creating a practice, and the difference of those two, even as an energy.
Well, I belong to several different groups, and it was really only once I got into African spirituality that things became operative. Before that, it was more about studying things, trying to collect information and data, and then regurgitate that data to sound as if you knew how the world worked, going on. Which in a sense, sometimes people go into different tangents with that, right? So with spirituality, or with let's say there's certain concepts that go well with quantum physics, which is in and of itself a spiritual concept. It goes well with metaphysics and quantum physics. In some ways, there are these parallels, and people can say, okay, even though there's a distinction slightly, they can use quantum physics to explain metaphysics or metaphysical principle, right? However, the one thing that I have with the one problem that I have with philosophy is that it is working on a premise that makes you less powerful. And that premise is that you are at it all alone, that you can figure it all out by yourself, that it's just you. Somehow you're going to merge into this greater mind by studying, you know, things, or you know, inundating yourself with certain information. The difference between that and practice, because I guess philosophy in a sense is a practice. It's a mental yoga.
Yeah.
If you are working from the premise of being in the world by yourself, and everything in your mind is kind of affecting the world somehow, and it is, but that's it. It begins and ends with you, then you're sorely mistaken. It's a very analytical, it's a very, how would you say, separative way of looking at the world. Whereas in African spirituality, everything is a person. And so you have to learn how to comport yourself in that particular society, in this global society, in this international society, in this
intergalactic society.
Exactly. And so
interstellar society.
Interstellar society. You're only going to be as popular as the beings that you know. Okay? The beings that you are able to, or the things or the minds that you are able to have a relationship with. In philosophy, there's no relationship. And that is, the relationship is your mind with understanding concepts. But there's no way to use them because it's all about you.
Right. And so the limit is, you are the limit.
You are the limit.
What you understand, all of that becomes your limit.
Yep. What you understand becomes your limit. And
or what you think you understand, right? Because, you know, you understand something to a certain degree, and then, you know, as you grow and develop, you get more understanding.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right.
And the problem is, if you if you are basing your spirituality on what you know, you are held out of a lot of information and experiences, and other realms of reality. Because you don't know it, you think, oh, well, it must not exist because this doesn't make sense in my mind.
Right. Primarily because you see those as things, and they're not things.
Right.
Everything, even beyond that, these things that we talk about, one of the reasons why it doesn't make any sense to a lot of people is because the meanings are interdimensional themselves. You think it's only a physical egg, but that physical egg has a number of meanings and a number of properties that go beyond its physical use or its physical meaning as a chicken egg.
Right.
You know? And so people are able to use that, or able to have relationships beyond the physical egg, and use the physical egg for more than just, you know, they may be able to heal somebody with a physical egg, because they understand what the egg is for, and they understand the relationship that they have with the egg, or the universe has with the egg. They understand its causal, archetypal nature.
Yeah.
You see? And one of the things that I've noticed about, you know, because in some of these groups, people are big on astrology. Astrology is great. I'm not knocking astrology. I can't, because I participate.
Yeah.
But if you're not using it, and you just walk around sounding like you know, and you just walk around sounding like you know what it's about, but you can't use it to make a change in your life, that's not practice. That's where practice comes in. Practice comes in because it allows you to not only develop yourself, but also in developing yourself to create harmony within that overall cosmic, intergalactic, interstellar society that you are a part of.
You know, when I think about practice and the benefits of practice, what comes to mind is a musician.
Hmm.
You know, I'm a yogi, a martial artist. Um, and the benefit of practice in anything that you're, any tool that you're going to be able to demonstrate to yourself, first of all, that
Hmm.
you can actually use this, is the ability to learn it. So you're going to learn it on a physical level first. Okay.
Hmm.
You're going to learn some very basic moves on a physical level and do some physical things with it, because we exist not primarily, but we exist, what we're most aware of is this existence in this physical dimension.
Right.
Right. But what begins to happen is, as you become more masterful from practice, from the daily grind, getting in, and like this stuff that is just like, oh my God, do I really want to sit here and do this? Do I
Hmm.
want to do this punch over and over and over? Do I want to do the same kick over and over? Do I want to downward dog over and over? What begins to happen is you begin to use those basic moves in different ways. You
Hmm.
begin to have a relationship with those basic movements, which allows you, you know, you don't hear a singer just singing in one note. As they become more masterful, they can take octaves and do all kinds of, I'm not a singer, so I don't know
Hmm.
the correct term, but you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
They can take a song that sounds like just plain like this, and add all these beautiful highs and lows and riffs and this and that. I can't do that, but I haven't practiced with it. I haven't taken it to another level. In this case, we may be talking about taking it to another dimension, taking it and experimenting in another realm with it, to see what else is out there if I just, you know, if I push just a little bit further. What else is out there?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I can't I can't emphasize this enough, that the importance of understanding that you are not the only mind. Even if you do I guess even if you do transmute your personality, as they say in the West, and you change yourself, okay, you're going to need tools to do it. What are those tools? Those tools are minds. Those tools, whether you know it or not, whether you realize it or not, are beings. You're going to have a relationship with those things. It's almost as if, some people think that, if my mind was strong enough,
Mm-hmm.
I could shut the sun down. No,
Mm.
you can't shut the sun down, because the sun is a mind too.
Right.
Have a better relationship with the sun, and you can
Right.
change or negotiate something with that sun. Or you might have to have a relationship with a mountain or a cave.
Mm-hmm.
You might
Mm-hmm.
have to have a relationship with wood and be able to create a house or an arbor to cover your head
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from the sun. But you can't say, sun, shut down. It's and that's kind of,
It ain't gonna happen.
it ain't gonna happen. A lot of people think that, after watching The Matrix, that is how it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that you're going to somehow change the laws of nature or change the laws of cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
That everything begins with your mind in your body. No, you can expand your mind, and you can have the mind of the sun. You
Mm-hmm.
know that through
Mm-hmm.
baths and other things and talismans and amulets. There are ways to add to yourself, but you're going to need those other minds in order to download certain information, in order to be bigger or better, or to become something bigger or better.
Mm-hmm.
Only do that through practice, through operation.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You cannot learn definitions, and I would argue that the mental yoga, or the intellectual yoga that we go through, trying to reason, is actually they say this in Western philosophy. It's not even the highest level.
Right.
Even then,
Right.
reasoning has its place, but even beyond that, you have intuition.
I was getting ready to, yeah.
Without reasoning. You know, you need both. Don't get me wrong. But some people kind of, if you really look at how they see the world, they're trying to rationalize everything. There is no feeling. There is no inner hearing. So what I've noticed about African spirituality is it goes to inner hearing and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I got my, I started my spiritual journey. Oh gosh, I mean, the metaphysical understanding of it, started, it was in my 20s, and I started with, New Thought, Ernest Holmes, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, what was great about it is that it gave me a very compartmentalized way to think. And it did expand me. I mean, you know, I had grown up in a Pentecostal home, and when I found metaphysics, for me, that was a huge growth. It was great to learn to use my brain in another way. It was great to think about myself being larger and not necessarily dependent upon this guy in the sky,
right?
That was gonna smite me and all these things. To think that, wow, you know what, I can actually have an effect on my environment. Now, the thought was, it was with my mind. You know, that's what it was. What you think about, you bring about. Thoughts are things, and you know, all those kinds of, which are very true. Yeah. Which are very true. The beautiful thing is that that's not where it ends.
Right.
And something in me knew this is not where it ends. It was, I had a craving in me, and it could have just been my DNA getting activated saying, yes, you are on the path. Keep coming, keep coming. That took me into African spirituality, which opened up intuition and all sorts of other doors into myself and into the universe. So having a daily practice, you know, really gives access. And I guess people who philosophize may think not think, because I'm not here to judge or say that it's less than or anything. I'm just saying it was a different experience for me. It's a different level to work solely with this mind versus get out of my mind and be able to communicate with many more minds that aren't encased in bodies even.
Right. And you know, sometimes people who are doing the philosophy aren't even aware of that. They aren't even sometimes aware. I think I had a conversation with my wife, as a matter of fact, where she was saying, you know, we were talking about dictators. And somehow I think Hitler came up, Stalin came up, and I told her, I said, well, what is, let's think of, she was like, how did they have control over all of these people? You know, they didn't use spirits. I said, ha, no.
They did.
So what's on the Nazi flag? Swastika. You think that began with them? That is an age old. There have been people who have been praying to this symbol, who've been energizing this symbol for millennia. Took the symbol, put it on their thing, and what did they put around it?
Red and black.
And black and white.
And white, yeah.
You know, that's not an accident that they used a symbol that's not even Germanic.
Yeah.
When you look at Stalin, and same thing, a sickle and a star and a, you know, and the color red, deep red, action. These were action-oriented societies. People moved, they did things right away. You know what I mean? This is what it was about. It was about working. It was about activity. And so when you look at some of those things, you have to say to yourself, there's medicine there. You know what I mean? that sometimes medicine, I'm not saying it's the most powerful, but sometimes medicine goes beyond the bush. Now, I'll give you another example. You'll see on Facebook sometimes how folks are, they'll put up an article where British folks are giving back statues that they took from Africa years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and again, you'll see something like that, or you'll hear stories about how certain artifacts are in the British Museum. Some of them are in the bottom, in the basement somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw that in Indiana Jones with the Ark of the Covenant.
Yes.
Which dealt with the Germans
mm-hmm.
for the Ark of the Covenant. Another secret, because everybody's collecting medicine. That is a way of collecting medicine in and of itself. Finding artifacts that people have prayed to, energized. It is the only thing that this thing has done is received incantations and blessings and
Ashe.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Mm-hmm. The whole for thousands of years, blood sacrifice. And there are people who have gone into Africa and they purchased these things for big bucks. Actually, some people have given them away once they converted to Christianity. They called a European or an Asian who was looking for these things and say, "Hey, I got something. My elder my elder just passed away. He was the last one who was into this type of thing. How much would you give me for it?"
Yep.
I'll be right. I'm on a plane.
Yep.
And people are collecting these things, and you wouldn't believe the amount of energy that just by having it in their house or in their presence, they are benefiting from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with understanding that these are not just symbols. They're not things the way people think. They're minds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're even greater than the time period you live in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that sitting down and talking definitely has a place, and dialogue is a necessary and beautiful thing. But it is when you actually take action on something, begin doing something. There's that cause and effect that you cannot escape it. You cannot get out of it. So one of a powerful thing when it comes to power, period, those who want power, one of the ways to get it is to make sure that quote unquote others, I don't believe in others because believe there's one within this huge mind, and there's many of us here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I can get you almost entranced to the point where you're paralyzed, but you don't believe you're paralyzed because you are doing something.
Mm-hmm.
But I got you entranced with this action.
Right.
This action is, let's sit and talk and sound brilliant. It feeds your ego. People are paying attention to you. Meanwhile, I'm over here actually doing something.
Yep.
I'm literally taking action, but because I may be quiet, the action I may be taking is in secret, and in Ifa we call that awo. Mm-hmm. It's in secret. Mm-hmm. So it may look to you like I'm doing nothing. I got you distracted over here in this conversation, and you just bantering about, running your mouth, talking loud, saying nothing. Meanwhile, I got things over here being active. Mm-hmm. And that's how I see what happens with dictators. And I mean, anybody can do that. And all of these powers can be used on either side of the polarity, good or bad, or whatever you want to say there. But it can be a distraction. Mm-hmm. Sitting around philosophizing, letting your ego getting puffed up because you sound so brilliant and so smart, and you've done so much and you've been so many places. Great. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're not paying attention to what's going on around you. You're not paying attention to the symbols that are being put in front of you, flash quickly. or put there and just standing in your face,
Right.
talking to your subconscious mind, and you don't know it because you're busy running your mouth. You're not actually being able to feel into the space around you and the people and the minds around you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not listening.
And it affects your effectiveness.
Oh, I like that.
Because ultimately, your goal through spirituality is to become something. If you become better, then your environment or wherever you go will become better.
Yeah.
You see? Because, and you will be attracted to things that are better. What I mean by that is not that, you become, like if you have, they say it all the time, you develop a millionaire, I guess for folks who are into that, you develop a millionaire, attitude, mindset. Mind is what? A mind is a thing, is a being. Develop that mindset that you tap into that wavelength and the money starts pouring in. You don't know where it's coming from. Ideas start pouring into your head that will deliver this $1 million to you. It's the same way as if you become a greater person, or if you expand your spirit and you develop a relationship with others in the cosmos, then you will also, wherever you go, that particular energy has to follow you.
Yeah.
It has to be wherever you go. They show you on cartoons. They used to do this back in the day. The witch or something. She walks through a forest that's all lush and green. And then she passes through. It's all dead behind her.
Yes.
And then the good one comes back through at the end after they kill the bad one. And she walks through that old dirty, stinky forest, and all of a sudden behind her it's all green.
Yeah.
Because whatever you are, that has to follow you.
Yep.
But still there.
Absolutely. Wow.
It's a good one.
Very good one. Very good one. Good topic. Thank you for bringing it up. Pop, pop, pop. Again. Good topic. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our morning mystic conversation, our musings this morning. We're bringing you some more tomorrow. You never know what we're going to come up with. You never know what's going to come through our mind the day before. The whole idea is we are staying super observant to our environment. And, I believe we're being guided as to what to talk about. And it's awesome. So how can they contact you, Shaka? How can they get a hold of you?
Yes. I think the best way to do it really is to email me at the email below. And once we do that, we can also be friends on Facebook. I've been getting a lot of random folks, but they kind of friend me up and then they never say anything. So I'm not sure if it's from the show or if it's from Facebook. So feel free to email me. I also do readings. We both do readings, divinations as well. So there's a lot there in developing a relationship with us. And the other thing is we know that we have some folks on in our listening or our viewership who are spiritual practitioners. We'd like to talk more about with you all. I think in the future there will be an opportunity maybe even to have you as a guest on the show. We'd love to have a conversation or interview you and find out a little bit more about you. So email me, email Sabira. She's going to give you her information too. And I think, like I said, we're still looking for, we're going to do 5 free readings a piece for folks. So if you don't have any qualms about being on Google Hangouts doing a reading, you need to contact us ASAP so we can get you going. So Sabira, how about you?
Yep. All right. So for me, Sabira Divines, that is the website. Go there, please. And, leave me a message in the little chat space down below. Hit me up on Facebook as a friend. Sabira Falami is my page. I do accept your friends, and please leave me a message. Let me know how you found me and what your interest might be. We want to be able to this show to be of service. You know, that's really what this is about. We want to answer questions, things we don't know. We want to be able to go and do the research and find out for you and bring it back to the show and answer those questions that you might be having. So hit me up on Facebook. Don't just be my friend and say something to me. Let me know, say something. Let me know what it is your intentions are. And then I also have a page which is called Sacred Warrior Yoga. If you happen to be a mystic and a yogi and wanted to look at your yoga practice and the transformation of your life using some mindful movement, some life coaching, and the tool of divination, that's what I'm about. Okay?
All right.
All right, folks. Well, we will be back tomorrow morning with another show. I'm ready to close this up and drop the links so that folks can enjoy the show. Go out and have a beautiful day. Roar and Shaka, see you tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. Take care.
Right. Peace, everybody.
Peace.